Hi everyone, welcome to another Zentangle Quickie. I am Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I am super excited to share Paradox with you. Now, I'm using a bijou tile. It's a 2x2 tile, and I should say, keeping consistent with wanting this to be a quickie, I'm going to show you two ways. Well, my hand is so big on there. Two ways to do Paradox. Or I should say, it's two outcomes. I'm doing this in pen. I need to do this in pen. All right, so I did my 4 corner dots because I wanted to create a border on this one versus going to the edge. But for Paradox, generally, kind of our first step is we outline the area that we're going to do. So I can just do this in pen. I didn't need to do it in pencil and then go back over it. I'm going to divide this into 4 pieces, 4 triangles. So going from corner to corner, because there's just some really super cool stuff that we can do with Paradox. Now, the Paradox is we're going to kind of create a curvy feature out of just straight lines. So pick an area, and let me also preface this with, it doesn't have to be triangles. It can be squares. I've done it with a square, and it works just fine. It can be whatever size section that you want. But I'm going to use triangles because I want to share with you one of the cool things that can happen depending on how you lay this out. So I'm going to start here. You start in the corner. Straight lines again, always keeping in mind straight lines. We're going to start this corner, and we're going to hug this line to begin with. But if you can imagine drawing a straight line, but we're going to come out a little bit from this corner, and we're only focusing in on this one section. So just like that. As she holds her breath for a moment as she does it. Remember to breathe as we're doing Zentangle. And then where you ended, this is your new corner. So we start from that new corner and come out, same idea, coming just a little bit of ways away from the previous corner. We'll say it that way. And then again, here's my new corner, and sometimes I'm shifting my tile because I want it to be comfortable. We always want to strive for comfort, whether it's hand position. That's one thing. That's why we turn our tile also, is because we want to keep our hand comfy. I'm getting just shy. I'm working hard to not go over the line, and so I'm kind of slowing down when I get to the end so I don't go over. And then I'm ending up coming short. So I'm always turning my tile so that way I don't have to really move my hand too much. And then, which also helps kind of for consistency in what you're doing. Now, I find it very important to make sure you're coming right from that corner. Coming from the corner and, and going right to that line, again, not past it, not cutting it short. And then sometimes like this, things happen and it's okay. We just keep going. Because in the end, it's not going to matter. When I've taught this before, I've seen I was trying to remember what it is that, I think that is what people have done, is not coming right from the corner, coming out a little bit from the corner. It really helps with the overall effect if you can get right in that corner and then work from there. And this, you just keep going until you have no more room, like that. And so you can see, we've created these really cool curved lines by making a bunch of straight lines. It's just amazing. All right, so we're going to do that again. I'm just going to take this corner here, and I'm going to start here in that same corner. Same idea. This is one that you might not want to have too big of an area because we're drawing straight lines by hand, and sometimes, unless you're, really awesome and can keep your hand nice and steady and have those straight lines, sometimes it's difficult. And sometimes even it is difficult when you're using a small surface. But always trust, like if you're doing this, trust that in the end, it's going to look amazing. And if you're not happy, then we have course corrections such as shading, the Bronx Cheer, which, that's probably on another video. Generally, this one, we don't, because usually like decorating, could be something, like where you could, if you really wanted to, I suppose you could, color in some of the sections or something. It's just fun. And again, I work to keep a similar distance. It's hard to keep the same when we're just eyeballing this. But as you can see, as I'm finishing, in the end, everything just kind of blends in together and it looks really, really cool. And too, if you're trying this tangle for the first time, just like trying anything for the first time, it can be frustrating, but don't let it get you down, because there is no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. Everything is amazing. And if it's one of those not happy, save your tile. And if you're connected with me on, I have something that I want to try with, things that you don't really like. There's, it's a neat technique. It was like, well, something that we do over tiles, and so why not save the stuff that you don't really like, and we can find a use for it later. So these two are, I kind of went in this direction. So right, I wonder if I should do it turning my tile. I was drawing arrows as I practice, and then I get the arrows wrong. So we, started this way, and I was kind of going. Actually, I was turning the tile in a counterclockwise direction, but my lines were kind of going in a clockwise direction. So I want to show you what happens if so this is what happens if you do it the same direction every time, and you get these really cool like twisty shapes in there. But let me show you what happens if you go the opposite direction. And I am going to start from this corner and go from there. And I tell you, sometimes starting, I need to do, no, I was going to pull it down this way, and that wasn't going to work in my head. Sometimes going the opposite direction is just, it hurts my brain a little bit. So same idea. It's just a matter of, kind of getting it started, and then it's all okay, because it's the same idea. We are just drawing straight lines, and I am sure you can maybe already see what's happening here. I actually saw a video of somebody that they did this on their wall, and they taped. So instead of drawing lines, they taped. So kind of like you can sponge things on your wall, and they used tape where you would normally do lines, and then I'm sure that they had one color already painted on their wall, and then they were painting in a secondary color, and it was so cool to see. And I don't know, I don't think that they said, oh hey, this is a Zentangle paradox. It was just, this is just a pattern, and it was just so cool to see that on a wall. And I'm like, ooh, that's a really neat idea. And then heck, I don't know, depending on how big of sections, and it seemed like these were rather big sections. I was thinking, well, it would be a lot easier, you're doing it with tape than it's straight, versus, we're doing this freehand, which is a fun challenge. I'm sure if you are, say new to this, or maybe not new to this, it is, sometimes it's like, oh, can I just use a ruler? No, I know some people are tempted, and some people do, and I'm not going to judge. Normally I say, oh, you're cheating. now I've lost track. I went here. Sometimes when it gets into this tiny sections, it's easy to just get lost. All right, and then I'm going to draw another one right there. And so you can see this awesome fan that happens from this. So now I'm gonna continue to do the other one that with the same idea. Now, what I had mentioned, I started going a certain direction because what I look for if I'm doing it this way is I know that this is going to create a fan. So it creates a fan this way, and it looks like a leaf shape, but it also creates a fan this way. So in starting it, I found it easier, instead of thinking about, well, which direction do I have to go, is I'm like, well, I know this pattern is going to get continued this way naturally, so this helps me to not think about it. So I'm going to start my pattern and I'm going to go this way and just continue. So that way I know I'm going the proper direction. And like I said, I don't know why sometimes it's just like thinking that opposite direction. It just seems like it shouldn't take so much effort, but it does. Or it's just me. It's probably just me. No, I'm just kidding. We've had some conversations on our Tangle Time and our Facebook group about that. Wow, that one went a little wild. That's okay. And I think that is one of the hardest things also about Zentangle in general, is getting used to being okay with, when something kind of goes awry. Like this one, it's like, oh, you want to have those nice straight lines, and you want to have it be precise, and just trust the process, trust the method, and know that in the end it will be all okay. And if it's not, we'll find a way to make it, feel better, look better for you. Actually, one technique, if you're not happy with something, turn it over, don't look at it for a little bit, go do something else, take a step away, and then come back. And I know I'm always amazed, and I'm going to finish that there. So isn't that just cool? So if I was to have alternated, then I would have had two fans like this kitty corner, and then as you can see, here's the beginning of this one. It would have extended, and it creates a really neat pattern. But you have to make sure to, in the the next section over, you have to flip it and go in the opposite direction. So that is, let me show you some shading though. So paradox, like anything, there's 100 ways to Sunday to shade. This one is fun to kind of accentuate some of the curves. Like this one, I could put some graphite here, in the base, and with the tortillon, just kind of draw it out into this section here. This one is gonna look a little weird because I have two types of things here. When we shade, actually same thing right here is just kind of accentuating this and drawing it out a little bit into that leaf. I was also thinking, well, I could have done something here also, and it depends on what you want to do. If you want to just bring this whole thing out, you could put a little bit of darkness here, because for those that don't know, we focus more on the pop. The fact that dark kind of sinks it, that's my terminology, it sinks it down. So if we were thinking, this is one dimension flat piece of paper, we can create kind of 2 dimensions like this, like layers this way. And so that's what I look at a lot. But again, and sometimes like here, so, this is going to be a little different, this little twisty. So if you were to do your whole pattern with that, same idea, when, just in that, the edge where they've all come together, just to throw a little bit of graphite in there, both sides. We have to leave a little bit of the original, paper color, tile color, so that way then you can see that there's a contrast. But that's where our focus lies, is in that contrast. And actually, so this edge also Can't neglect that. And this one here. And it's just neat. And I hope that you've enjoyed your time in this Zentangle Quickie. And I would love to see what you have come up with. In the comments are ways to connect, address for our Facebook group and my website and all that. And if you're on Facebook and want to join in, would love to see what you have done. Oh, that just looks so neat. I'm just peeking up here in the camera. That looks so cool. To me, it makes it look metallic. And now, if you were to use this on, say, a toned paper, like our, a tan Renaissance tile or gray or, any color, then you can add some white, or you could even shade it with a different color. So many options. But just wanted to share this. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends. Zentangle is such a fun thing to do. All right, happy tangling!